Fireside poets were the first group of American poets to rival British poets in popularity both in America and Britain. These poets started in the 19th century and they wrote about many subject matters. Fireside poets were also known as schoolroom or household poets because of their preference for poetic convention. Their poems were read at home or around the fireplace as a common form of entertainment. The focuses of their poems were family life, American legends, and modern politics. Most of these poems were long narratives, but because of their careful use of rhyme and musical beats, they were easy to remember. A few notable poets of the 19th century are Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, Emily Dickinson, Walt Whitman, William Cullen Bryant, and Edgar Allan Poe. In their poems, these poets also wrote about issues such as slavery and the abolition movement, and subject matter such as Abraham Lincoln and Paul Revere's Ride. These poets were able to pave the way for later Romantic poets and writers. Tall tales originated in the early 19th century during the time of American westward expansion. The Western Territory purchased from France was a land filled with vast forests, tall mountains, treacherous rivers, and dangerous wild animals. With a land so massive in size, people tried to find a way to cope with the greatness of America. As its name suggests, the tall tales are exaggerated stories about certain characters, mostly frontier folks. Characters like Paul Bunyan are tall, huge characters. Other characters are just simple people with great feats, like John Henry and Davy Crockett. Many are fictional characters, particularly larger-than-life figures like Paul Bunyan and Stormalong. Others are based on real people like Davy Crockett and Johnny Appleseed.
Tell her to reap it with a sickle of blazing scarlet battalion. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme.
Ballads essentially are poems which are meant to be sung like songs. They are actually short stories which highlight the climax of a historical or dramatic event about romance, sentiment, or pride. They were originally passed down through word of mouth by songs and sold as printed ballads called broadsides, but were not commonly associated with dance. Also popular were the English ballad operas, which were performed in theaters based on the ballad's form and lyrics. Ballads exist in many forms: the folk ballads, traditional ballads, broadside ballads, native ballads, and literary ballads.
Remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine.
Evangeline is an epic poem about an Acadian girl who was separated from her love Gabriel when the British forced the Acadians out of Nova Scotia during the Great Upheaval. The poem follows Evangeline in America, where she searches for her love. When she grows older, she begins working as a nun, and while she is tending those that are sick from an epidemic, she finds Gabriel and he dies in her arms. The poem Evangeline focuses on one single character and follows her as she experiences life and tries to find her lost love. This is the forest primeval, the murmuring pines and the hemlocks bearded with moss and in garments green indistinct in the twilight. Showed on her face and encircled her form when, after confession, homewardly serene, she walked with God's benediction upon her. Many a suitor came to her door by the darkness befriended, and as she knocked and waited to hear the sound of her footsteps, knew not which beat the louder, tart or the knocker of iron, or at the joyous feast of the patron saint of the village, grew bolder and pressed her hand in his dance as he whispered hurried words of love that seemed a part of the music. Among all who came, young Gabriel only was lost.
The fire's coming! The fire's coming! Oh my God! Evangeline! You're not Evangeline! Where is she? I don't know!
The first dawn of the day came heaving and hurrying landward. Then recommenced more the stir and the noise of embarking, and with the ebb of that tide the ship sailed out of the harbor. leaving behind them the dead on the shore and the village in ruins. Then would they say, "Dear child, why dream and wait for him longer? Are there not other youths as fair as Gabriel, others who have hearts as tender and true, and spirits as loyal?" Beautiful is the land with its prairies and forests of fruit trees, under the feet a garden of flowers, and the bluest of heavens bending above and resting its dome on the walls of the forest.
Smith, how about chipping it to make it smaller to hold? Sure. This tree is too big. How do we chop it down? Miss, can you help us chop down this tree?
Sure. Oh no, what do we do? I know, let's call Paul Bunyan. Paul Bunyan!
Did I hear someone call my name? What seems to be the problem?
We need to chop this tree. Could you help us?
Stand back. Come here, babe.
Ooh!
Ooh. Timber! Hi, I'm Davy Crockett. I'm really hungry. Would you happen to have some food?
No, I'm sorry, sir. I don't have any food on me. Oh no, there's a Yow!
I'm not about to kill such an amazing feller as you. I won't kill you if you come home with me. Bye, ma'am. I'm gonna go home with my new pet panther. Hi, I'm John Henry. Henry! I challenge you to beat the steel driving machine or else you're fired. Okay, boss.
There you go, John Henry! Go, John Henry!
Was she and young when in hope began the long journey. Faded was she and old when in disappointment it ended. Each succeeding year stole something away from her beauty, leaving behind its broader and deeper, the gloom and the shadow. As he lay in the morning light, his face for a moment, so are wont to be changed the faces of those who are dying. Hot and red on his lips still burned the flush of the fever, as if life like the Hebrew with blood had sprinkled its portals, that the angel of death might see the sign and pass over. Motionless, senseless, dying he lay, and his spirits exhausted. All was ended now, the hope and the fear and the sorrow, all the aching of heart, the restless, unsatisfied longing, all the dull, deep pain and constant anguish of patience. Still stands the forest primeval, but under the shades of its branches dwells another race with other customs and language. As you can see, these famous literary works have made their lasting impression on American literature at the turn of the 19th century, showing America's imagination, sentimental side, and idealism. So the next time you pick up a American poetry or fictional story, remember the hidden theme of Romanticism.
Frankie and Johnny were sweethearts. At least that's the way the story goes. Frankie bought everything for Johnny, from his sports car to his Ivy League clothes. Oh, he was a man, all right. Oh, but he